you for joining us today. We're going to be talking with two CVIC employees who are going to talk to us about the importance that transportation plays in delivering important client services. In our work in interpersonal violence, we know that it's not just a centralized issue, right? There's all these ancillary things happening around it. And one of the biggest things you both see is issues around transportation. Do you maybe want to just start, Mara, by telling us kind of the crux of the problem?
As a social worker and therapist in this community, I can tell you that transportation is one of the hugest problems that our clients face. Those experiencing poverty in our community are very likely to have transportation as a huge barrier. Not having transportation means that you don't have access to getting to school, to getting to work, to getting to the grocery store, to getting to the doctor, to getting to all of these services that are important to daily life. To accessing supports and services, much like ours, that are needed in times of crisis.
Do you maybe want to talk about the infrastructure and what might be lacking?
We do have a city bus in our community, but it doesn't run all of the time. It doesn't run every day of the week. It doesn't run every hour. So if people are working, third shift or things like that, transportation is an issue to get to work. And third shift pays better, right? So that's a good way to pull yourself out of poverty. Right. But too bad if you can't get there. The other thing to keep in mind is we live in a community which gets very cold and snowy for a large part of the year. Even if someone is able to take the bus, think about what it would be like if you were a parent or a caregiver and you have an infant and a toddler. So you have to manage the stroller, you have to manage your little kiddo, hold their hand. You have to get everybody clothed for getting through this. You have to make sure, or what if you're a person experiencing a physical disability, having to get through that in the wintertime is a nightmare.
And that's actually a great segue for Christy to kind of talk about, because you get to work with our clients all day long and really see some of this playing out. What are some of the things you've seen as people have come in to see CVIC?
So part of the transitional housing program that I am overseeing, we actually get to give rides to the participants in that program. Transportation is one of the number one things we are reporting back each month about. We're hearing this client has a barrier. Transportation. Transportation. They didn't make it to their appointment today because they didn't have a ride. They couldn't wait for the bus. Their kids didn't want to wait for the bus. Timing, if you are a single adult, can be difficult. If you wake up late, you're running behind, you can at least hustle and maybe make it to your appointment still. If you have kiddos, it's a little bit harder, especially if you have kiddos and you're taking the bus. You have to account for all those extra stops. Sometimes the bus is not a direct route, especially to get into our office. And we've had clients talk about how they're riding the bus for an hour before they can even get close enough to walk to us and then go to their other appointments. So it's a really, really big barrier that gets in the way of something so simple as, hey, come in and talk to us. Let's figure out what else you need. Let's figure out, how else we can help you, get you connected to resources, things like that.
And you see this too as a therapist. Maybe talk a little bit about how that affects, because also if mom's having or dad's having trouble getting to our place, they're probably also having trouble getting their kiddo to school and to therapy.
Yes, and the thing is too, as a school social worker, if people are having trouble getting their kiddos to school, and there are some bus options with the school district, there's very real consequences for families if they cannot get their children to school, which is really hard.
It's really hard. Well, we had an opportunity last winter. We had a very generous donor donate 12 vehicles from Rydell. There were several of our clients who were awarded the vehicle that they either lost their car, or their car had been broken for several years, or they hadn't owned one for a while. Maybe talk a little bit about you saw that play out, what kind of impact it had just having the means to get from point A to point B.
That was a really, really cool event. Our clients were very happy, overwhelmed. All of the emotions all at once. So it was really cool to see that happy side of things and not, just all of the troubles that our clients are facing. We've had clients talk to us about how they had to choose whether or not they wanted to take the bus to come to this appointment or maybe go to another appointment, or they're going to take the bus to go get groceries. It is an either or, not an and. And for those of us who don't have to face that every day, that's very whoa, that's pretty powerful.
Big choice, yeah.
You want to eat or do you want to make it to your appointments to get connected to other resources like that? impacts us all very greatly when we hear that. So for this car event, when everyone was getting to hear all of the, oh, I got to go to this appointment, I went and got groceries, we went and got some school things, and we didn't have to wait. We didn't have to carry all of our stuff. We didn't have to push the stroller down many blocks. And we're still hearing feedback from some of the clients that have gotten their cars because they're still so pumped about it.
It was really powerful to watch, yeah. Well, $20,000 question, what do we do, where do we go from here, and how can the community help?
So I think one thing that we can do is really shift our thinking, right? As seeing this from an individual feeling as a systems-wide community issue. There has been some really good headway made. I mean, the district has made some really good creative solutions to help some people throughout this whole thing, but there's always more room to grow. That would be a great way to start, is just shifting the narrative from what are you doing wrong that you can't fix this in your life to how can we as a community fix this issue.
Just to add on top of it being the community issue, it's, if you want to help, if you are moved to help in a different way, we're always looking for those bus passes.
Yes.
Gift cards just for a quick tank of gas, stuff like that. That is such a very easy way for people to feel connected to our mission, to get involved, to help those who we are helping.
Well, we probably won't get this problem solved in this quick 8-minute video, but we appreciate what you're doing day in and day out to help.